Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers Robots in Disguise Combiner Force review for you today. This is Decepticon, Dragstrip, and Wildbreak. This is another of the Crash Combiners. We're kind of back to that old school, or I should say original convention where you had two that just kind of slammed into each other and transformed into a robot, as opposed to the 5-team combiners we've seen recently in the Combiner Force line. So this is kind of a second wave of the two-people Crash Combiners. And this wave, you can see over here, has Shocknado, which is just a purple Decepticon repaint of Skyhammer, which I've already reviewed. I saw it today when I got this. I thought about it, but it's not a super inspired repaint, so I don't know, I wasn't very excited. But this is a brand new mold, so I decided to grab this. And there's also a repaint of Prime Strong, which is Optimus Prime and Strong Arm. And I think Prime's like blue and Strong Arm's like black and white. It's kind of a weird color scheme, but unfortunately the second wave is mostly repaints. But this is the only one, as far as they had there at the store, that is actually a new mold. I don't know. I think this eventually is going to get repainted, and I think there's eventually going to be a repaint of B-Swipe or Side B or whatever he's called, the Side Swipe and Bumblebee. So yeah, this is the only one I could find so far that's actually a new mold. So that's why I decided to pick this up today. So Dragstrip and Wildbreak Combiner Force become DragBreak. Not the best. I mean, Wild Strip doesn't really sound any better, I gotta be honest. So I guess they went with what they could. Let's go ahead, get this guy out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so Dragstrip and Wildbreak out of the packaging. Kind of weird to me that Dragstrip is not the one that more closely resembles a Formula One racer, just from G1 look at things. But there it is. So you can see here, when I first saw this, I thought it reminded me very much of Sideswipe, but as you can see, they are different. Oops. A little bit of different there in the molding. The connection in the front is kind of similar, but you can see the peg hole is different, the top is different, the feet are definitely different. So he is kind of similar, but not exactly a repaint. It is definitely a new mold. So it probably is like a remold of that one, but it is different. And then as far as I know, this guy is completely new. I guess if I were to bring in the one he kind of most resembles, in my opinion, being Bumblebee, because they both kind of have the wing on the back. If I can get this to go, transform. You can see again, it's somewhat similar. Like this part up at the front is kind of similar, but the rest of it is obviously. So I'm wondering if it's like a base mold, although they're really not all that similar, so they might just have similarities in common. Or it could be a heavy retool of the Sideswipe Bumblebee. I guess that's really up to your interpretation. I feel like they're different enough that they're not obvious remolds, but they have some similarities that kind of remind you of the previous mold. But, you know, not that big a deal. Now, these guys are Stunticons. So I would assume, well, you can't see him because he's too tall, that they're supposed to be these two characters. So if we go ahead and pull these off and move the rest of Menasor off to the side and remove the sword, transform these back, there we go. And now we can kind of zoom in here. Now, I assume they're supposed to be the same characters, and to me it's a little weird to do characters you already have, but they kind of did the same thing with the Autobots, because all the members of Ultra B are like the first wave of the Crash Combiners, so it's a little weird that the characters have multiple representations in this like subline, but it is what it is. I would say these two probably look the most similar. And then these two are pretty big departure from one and the other. But they're both nice. I think they're both, I like the color scheme for both. But I just wanted to do that little comparison because I believe they are supposed to be the same characters. So, robot mode, stand it up, bring out the arms to the side, bring this down, flip out the head, fold it back up. There's your one robot mode. This guy is a little bit more involved. You bring the feet down like that. Then you bring up the hands. Same thing. Flip out the head, push the chest piece back up. And here are your two robot modes. They're not bad. I mean, for what we've come to expect for this line, obviously they don't really have any articulation. The arms can move. That's really it for both. But they're not terrible. Taking a look at the head sculpts, pretty good. I like the blue for the face and the purple for the chest. There is red for the eyes, but it's kind of hard to see because it's like painted faintly in the corners there. But it does exist. And then same for this guy. He's got nice red. And I don't even think they bothered to paint his eyes. I think they left the blue plastic the same color. Just painted the red on his face. And it looks like mine has like a little paint defect there on the chin. So that's kind of a bummer. But overall, simplistic as far as color scheme goes. But, you know, they're robot modes that we've kind of come to expect. Bringing these back in. I believe this folds like this. And then you just bring out the arms. Do the same for this guy. So they have a little bit more transformation than these guys do. And you can see they're very different. Like these two, if they are supposed to be the same character because they have the same name, the design is very different. And I like the molded in legs and feet. Even though they don't move, I appreciate, like this obviously doesn't have that, but I really do like it over here. I think it at least looks good. And then for these two, his molded in legs are not as cool as the yellow one, but you can see they're vastly different as far as design and paint scheme goes. So I don't really know if they're supposed to be the same character or not. Like I said, I assume they are because I believe they have the same names. I know for sure Dragstrip is the same name. I think he's Wildbreak. But yeah, they're definitely different. So you could probably just pretend they're different Decepticons if you wanted to. Transforming them back real quick. Fold the head back in, close it back up. You're done. Chest piece comes down, fold the head in, hands, pop that back down, you're done. Now it's time to crash combined the back of this one with the front of this one. That'll flip that up, and then you can let it go. Then you're going to pull the legs apart and flip out the feet down here. And there we have it. Now, I did want to point out the directions show to flip these up like this to finish off the shoulders. But I have to say, I really don't mind them like this. I kind of think that looks all right. Just really pronounced shoulder pads like that. I don't mind it. But for the sake of the directions, I will flip them up. Again, it's your personal preference. If you like it the other way, you can certainly leave it the other way. You can bend the hands here at the elbows. And then I will try to get in close here so we can see the head sculpt. I like the red here in the chest. I think looks nice. You have that sticker for the app game. And then you have a little bit of orchid, kind of light purple here on the sides of the face with some yellowish green for the eyes. And I like that face sculpt. I think it's neat. I really do like it a lot. And I like the purple on the side. I think the red and the blue and the purple all kind of look good together. The legs are pretty simplistic, mostly just yellow. But they work. You know, they do their job. They separate nice and wide so that he stands well. The feet work. Flip them out very easily. So yeah, I can't really complain. I think he looks good. Now, as far as other combinations, I'll bring these guys in just because they're handy. Crash combined these guys. And you have to admit, when you put these next to each other, they do look somewhat similar. Now, obviously, there we go. The legs split the same way. They even kind of look similar. I think the crotch is pretty much the same piece. Maybe slightly different from like here to here. And then you can flip these out. I think that's a cool look with the rocket launchers there. And then bend the elbows. It's pretty much the only articulation they have is the elbows bending. Once you get the feet in position, they don't really have articulation. They just push them together and pull them apart. The really only articulation is the elbow joint. So you can see that it kind of takes influence, but it's definitely different enough that I would say this is its own mold. But you can, of course, switch these if you like. And, of course, you can switch them with any of the previous releases. This is just the one I happen to have handy. So, but I have to say, I think the two colors of the Stunticons go well together. I do like the kind of darker yellowish orange of Dragstrip with that blue from Wildbreak, aka Breakdown. So yeah, I like it a lot. I have to say, this is probably the only new mold for the second wave, but I like it a lot. I might end up picking up the purple repaint of Skyhammer. I'm on the fence right now. I like the mold, and I want more of these because I want some more Decepticons to kind of balance it out because it's been very Autobot heavy so far. But I don't know, that paint job just doesn't speak to me. It's just kind of, they just threw a purple on it, and it's not that exciting. You can also have some combinations with this guy. They're ridiculous combinations, but you can do it. Just kind of fling these around. It looks ridiculous, but it can be done. Now, I guess technically, could you put like an arm coming out of this guy's stomach? Let's find out. I always have trouble flipping these out, and I don't know why that is. Come along. Alright, we're going to use the sword. It's still taunting me. It knows I'm on camera, that's why. Because you guys want to sit here and watch me do this for 20 minutes, I'm sure. There we go. Jeez. Oh, maybe because I didn't lift that up? Maybe it was my own fault. Probably was. In any case, let's get this going. So, can we connect this? Kind of? That's terrifying. It's just a giant hand coming for you. So that kind of works, but it doesn't quite connect all the way just because of clearance issues. But you can kind of do it, so that's kind of hilarious. What about having a hand coming out of his butt? No, again, clearance issues. It kind of connects, but doesn't. So you could have like him surfing around on a hand-arm situation. So it's weird. I don't know. I think it's funny. I think it's neat that they're universal connectors like that so that you can do these crazy things out of someone's nightmare. But it's obviously not meant to happen because there's clearance issues and things like that, so it can't 100% happen. Put this guy back on here. But you can kind of play around and have some goofy fun. And I think that's really the appeal of this line. Because they're not super... They're certainly not superposable, and they're certainly not super articulated. But they're just goofy fun, and I don't know why. I really thought I would hate them when I first saw pictures of them. But they've grown on me so much. These guys look really fun together. But yeah, so we'll take him off to the side. So just quick final thoughts on this guy. I think he's fun. When I went to pick them up, I forgot that they're $15 a piece, which I still think is too much. I think if they were $10 a piece, that would be perfect. Unfortunately, they're $15, which I feel like is just a little too much. But if they have, sometimes stores have random sales, things like that. I definitely think they're worth picking up because they're just stupid fun. I don't know why. They just are. I don't really understand it or I can't explain it. They're very simplistic, very lacking in articulation, but I don't know. They're just fun. They're goofy and I think what it stems from for me, because they're so easy to transform back and forth, they're fun to just pick up and fiddle with. So like if you're doing something and you walk by like your desk or your shelf, and you just feel like picking it up and, you know, transforming it back and forth real quick in 5 seconds, you can do that. And I think that's part of the appeal. Plus, I think the other part of the appeal is the fact that you can kind of make the weird combinations. The fact that you can mix and match them very quickly and very easily. And just, you know, hey, I'm going to pop this guy on this guy's body. Or mix and match this arm and, or torso and legs situation. Or have it come out of the side of Menassor's arm. Because why not? It's hilarious. So I think they're fun. I recommend picking them up. Like I said, if you think 15 is a little too much, which I can understand, see if you can find a sale or something like that. Definitely worth, especially for younger kids. I think they're going to have a blast with these, especially because of the automorph transformation with the spring-loaded pieces. It's definitely a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Combiner Force Dragstrip and Wildbreak Crash Combiner from Transformers Robots in Disguise. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.